And we are live once again. We are live Thursday night live, Broken but Not Wasted Ministries. If it's Thursday night, if it's 7:30 p.m., it is Broken but Not Wasted Ministries in your home. So we are very glad to be with you once again. And we are we're continuing with the same series, the same topic that we had last week, young entrepreneurs who are very successful. All right. So tonight we have on this platform a young man who's very successful. His name is Richard Panier, hailing from West Palm Beach. Richard leverages a successful career as a full time real estate investor and consultant. With over 7 years of experience, Richard maintains a lucrative portfolio of cash flowing properties in the nation's southeast corridor. After graduating in 2013 from Florida from FAMU University with a bachelor's in accounting and minor in psychology and global security, he immediately transitioned to work for JP Morgan in New York City, currently maintaining a private portfolio of 16 rental units and 3 new construction projects. He purchased his first property in South Florida at age 22 while still living in New York City. After a couple single family deals, he was able to acquire a 10-unit apartment complex in Tallahassee, Florida. His experience ranges from private financing, running 5 successful Airbnb properties in New York City, Atlanta, and Tallahassee, as well as West Palm Beach. He had been able to keep the momentum of buying a new property every year since graduating until 2020. He set his eyes instead on the trucking industry and decided to put his resources towards buying a semi truck, and now he has 2 trucks on the road. He is currently in a complicated love triangle traveling and food. He has caressed every habitable continent through traveling to 33 countries and indulged in every major cuisine. Wow. His favorite hobby is spending quality time in the pages of various books and podcasts, but he hopes to transition that to jumping out of planes, preferably with parachutes. All right. He enjoys new random adventures like glass blowing and axe throwing or jogging in new neighborhood. Guys, please help me welcome Richard Panier. Welcome to this platform, Richard. This is so great to have you tonight with us. Thank you for coming. Thank you for accepting our invitation to grace this platform with your presence as a young, handsome entrepreneur and successful entrepreneur. Welcome, Richard. Please tell us a little bit more about you other than this extensive and very impressive bio. Go ahead,
Uh,
Richard.
well, first, I'd like to say thank you for having me. Really appreciate the invitation to be on the show. Just a little bit about me, aside from the bio. I currently live in Atlanta. Um, I have, been in real estate for some time. I'm currently helping investors to buy rental properties throughout the Atlanta market. Um, and yeah, I mean, I haven't been traveling as much anymore since COVID, but every now and then I do still take a trip here and there to get out and relax a little bit.
All right. So just to break the ice, tell us a little bit about your love triangle with food, what, and travel.
and
And
travel.
your bio says that you've tasted, you've gone, and you've had, worldwide cuisine. Yeah, look at you. So what's up with that? How are you able to do this, being that you travel extensively, and then you've tasted every type of food under the sun, and you still maintain that fit look. So tell us a little bit, Richard,
Uh,
about that.
well, yeah. So I mean, I travel pretty frequently, or I did travel pretty frequently. Just basically, living off of the passive income that I get from a lot of my rental properties, and then also just liking to try new cultures and new cuisines. So I've been to Italy, France, Amsterdam, Australia, Brazil, South Africa, just all over. And when I go, one of the, of course, things that I'm going to do when I go there is eat. But then I also do love to work out. So I work out maybe about almost some type of form of exercise every day. As the doctor prescribes, an apple a day and some form of 30 minutes at least exercise a day is what kind of keeps you going. So, and I'm an early riser, so I wake up anytime between 5 and 6 every morning. The first thing I do is either read my book, or either whatever book I'm reading at the time, and then go to the gym for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then sometimes I may go for a run.
Wow, you hear that, guys? You guys hear
Up
that?
early, he works out, and then he gets his day going. Somebody's saying hello from Georgia.
Going on.
Right. So tell us, how did you start actually? You said it says after you graduated from college, you went to work for JP Morgan in New York City. So why real estate? What brought you to that point where you started buying property and build wealth going that route?
Yeah, I did a couple of internships while I was at school. So I went to Florida A&M University in Tallahassee. Go Rattlers! Woohoo! Um, and after I did my internships, or during my internships, I saw that we were sitting in cubicles, not really enjoying the summer weather, or being able to enjoy life like I was used to as a kid. Just when you're a child, you have your summertime, you're able to go and play and hang out and relax and go to the beach. But then when I did my internship and got a taste of the adult world, I said, this can't be it. Like, I can't spend the rest of my life, 40 years, just sitting in front of a computer, doing work that I'm not really interested in. So I made it a goal of mine to be able to create passive income for myself. And I found out that real estate was one of the great ways to do that, create the passive wealth and gain, create the passive income and then gain wealth. So when I graduated JP Morgan, they gave a starting bonus for me to, kind of move up there and get acclimated, which was a $10,000 signing bonus. And I basically used that $10,000 signing bonus to buy my first property back home in West Palm Beach, Florida, even though I was living in New York. So I bought the property. I actually didn't even see the property in person until I think a week after I closed on it, or after I purchased it. Um, and it was, a Fannie Mae foreclosure. It was already fixed up and had already had renovations and everything. All I had to do was buy a refrigerator and find a tenant to put inside the property. And, I was getting pretty good money from the property every month, close to about $1,100 a month from the property. And my mortgage was really cheap. It was about $250 a month on the property.
Wow, what a great start. This is such a great start. You mean you could tell me they gave you a $10,000 bonus and you did not blow it? At 22 years old, you didn't blow it. You had the mind to invest it in real estate. And here you are today. You have a 10-unit apartment and you're running some Airbnbs in Tallahassee, in West Palm Beach, in New York City, like five of them. My goodness.
Yeah.
Di Richard compliment pour moi sous chat là. Di Richard compliment. I mean, kudos, well done. And how old are you right now?
I'm now 30 years old.
You are 30.
Yeah.
Look at this, a young, handsome, entrepreneur and who's very successful in real estate. Now, your bio says that you continued to acquire property on a yearly basis until 2020. You graduated in 2013. So for 7 years, you continued to acquire real estate until you started looking at the trucking industry. Why
Mhm.
that turn?
So in 2020, things kind of took a turn when COVID happened. I was actually in Australia slash Fiji at the time on a trip for a wedding for a friend of mine. And COVID happened. So then my mom, she was blowing my phone up like, hey, there's some type of disease out there in China, and it's spreading worldwide. You need to make your way back home. So, I made my way back home and COVID happened and I didn't really have, the property, housing market was kind of going all over the world, all crazy and stuff. So I was like, all right, may not be the best time to buy property. Folks aren't moving. Folks aren't looking for a place to buy, but transportation was blowing up. People still needed to get goods and services or goods delivered to them. I had a friend of mine who had just gotten into his first truck and was like, "Hey, I have a friend who wants to get their second truck. Would you be interested in financing it?" And so they, bought another semi truck used off Facebook Marketplace for about $15,000, $20,000. And I basically helped them give them the money to buy that truck. And when I saw the numbers and the financials from that truck, I was like, wow, I might need to get my own truck for myself. And so then that's when I decided I was going to go into trucking instead of buying another property that year. And I didn't look back. So now I have 3 trucks under my fleet, and
Wow.
things are doing pretty well.
So it was just an opportunity that presented itself out of necessity because with COVID-19, you could not acquire another property in 2020. So opportunity knocked on your door and you jumped on it. And you want to acquire more trucks, or are you still doing both property and
Yes.
transportation? How is that working out right now?
Yeah, so now I'm kind of hitting the ground hard on both fronts. So I got my first truck last year, July 2020,
Hmm.
and then I got the second truck in February of 2021,
Hmm.
and then I added 2 more or another truck after that. But then I'm still going very hard with real estate as well. I still have my rental properties. I actually purchased 3 properties this year, one in March and 2 in May, that I plan to do some new construction with. So I'm kind of venturing away from the rental properties and letting my property managers handle those. And now I'm getting into new construction. So I'm planning to build 4 houses and also build
Construction.
those.
You said construction, right?
Yep, new construction. So I'm building 4 houses and building an apartment complex as well.
Wow, that is fantastic. That is wonderful. What would be, and you are of Haitian descent, right? Because many Thursdays we bring Haitian entrepreneurs here to showcase, to display where our people, how our people have transitioned from being, you know, from the in the back of the bus per se, okay, as both people, the prior generation, okay, who came here with basically nothing, but they were able to raise the next generation to be successful professionals. So that's the
Right.
idea. You are of Haitian descent, right? Talk to us a little bit about your background, your upbringing as a Haitian American,
Yeah.
okay?
I mean, so I would say I consider myself first generation. My father was born in Haiti. He came to the States when he was 15. And then my mother, she was born in Brooklyn, New York. She has 6 or 7 siblings, most of them who were living in Haiti when she was born in America. She actually told me that she actually back to Haiti after she was born to live there for a couple of years before coming back to the States. Um, but I'm her only child, and then my father has 2 younger daughters, so I have 2 younger sisters as well, and it's been very interesting. I wouldn't change it for the world. I think having that Haitian bloodline or that Caribbean bloodline in you kind of instills you to kind of work hard to make it in the, land of opportunity, as they call America. And so it definitely pushed me to definitely go as hard as I've done, or
Mhm.
as hard as I've gone and still going, to kind of make a name for myself and make my parents proud. And they kind of instill those values of you into me, of being a hard worker and, treating people with respect and just trying to basically make the best of myself and what I can do.
Wonderful. That's great to hear. Now, I'm sure your parents are very, very, very proud of you, to see how you're working hard and it's paying off. You have the results to show. Um, so, have you ever been to Haiti?
Yeah, I've been dozens of times. I want to say I had my first trip to Haiti when I was maybe a couple months old, and then I used to go possibly every year for about 18 years, to Haiti, and then I haven't actually been back to Haiti since the earthquake in 2010.
Hmm. About 11 years. And how did you like it?
Oh, I loved it. I have a lot of family there on both my mom's side and my dad's side. It's kind of a different experience depending on which side of the family I go to see. So my
Mhm.
father's side is in the mountains, where my mom's side is in kind of in the city in Port-au-Prince.
Wow. Would you ever consider? I know it's not the best time now for investors to go, or for people to even go on vacation. It's not the best time, but hopefully we are praying that things do get better in Haiti. As an investor, would you ever think about investing
In Haiti?
in Haiti
Yeah,
and
for
some type
sure.
of business, even real estate, build apartment buildings? All right. After the earthquake in 2010, some areas are still not built. So
Right.
now that you're in the construction business and purchasing real estate, would you ever consider that as a thought when
Yeah, for
things
sure. I
get
would.
right?
I would want to connect with somebody who's already has a track record in Haiti, for
Mhm.
doing real estate deals. So that's someone I can, trust and look to for insight and guidance, in order to invest in real estate in Haiti. So once I make that connection, once things kind of simmer down a bit in the country, then I definitely wouldn't mind investing. I know my father has definitely thought about doing the same and investing in Haiti, as far as land and whatnot. Um, his father had a lot of land in Haiti, so it would be great to either take that up and start building and providing some you know quality housing in Haiti, as well as
Mhm.
like shopping centers and different types of buildings
And hospitality,
and hospitality.
Airbnbs, right,
Right.
right, right. That's great. So, how would you advise um, other young men, young ladies your age or younger? How would you advise them to, in terms of following your path of success? Because I believe your success started by you making the right decision to invest the first $10,000 in something that would last and something that is durable. And c'est ça qui commence les succès. But how would you advise someone who may not have the $10,000 to start investing? Maybe they have $1,000. I mean,
What would be the
oh my God. I'm so sorry. Did you guys hear me? Did you guys hear the question I was asking? I know Richard is hearing me, because the line is open on my end, but I'm not sure if everyone heard me. But I was asking Richard, what would he advise other young people his age, a young man, a young lady his age? He was saying that his success started with the first $10,000 that he chose to invest wisely in real estate and to get. Okay, let me try to do something here because they're saying they hear me with echo. All right. Do you hear me now?
No, I can't hear you anymore.
You can hear me, Richard?
Oh yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay, Richard can't hear me. Hold on. Sorry, you guys. Give me a second. As I'm doing this, go ahead and like the broadcast and share with your friends, okay? So they may also benefit from this broadcast. Can you hear me now, Richard?
I can hear you.
Okay, let me play this on my end and see. Can you hear me now, Richard? Okay, perfect. Let me play this on my end and see. Can you hear me now? Okay, perfect. All right, so I was asking Richard what would be his advice to a young lady, a young man, um, his age or younger, how to invest. He made the right decision to invest $10,000 in his first property, which started his path to success. But what if somebody doesn't have $10,000? How would they invest maybe $1,000, $1,500? Is that even feasible to think about? Besides, young people spending their money any kind of way, what would you advise young people to do?
Yeah, I mean, in today's world, there's so many new technological advances, so many different apps that folks can use to invest that have a a minimum of $500 in order to invest. So it works out to if there's apps such as Yield Street, Acorns, Wealthfront, Betterment. Um, I'm trying to think of the others that really just allow you to kind of invest without having that much money. And the returns are still great, and you can kind of build on top of that and start that way. Or if not, you may not have the money right away. Um, you can easily take the knowledge that you have or the time that you have and help someone else who is investing and just learn from them and make money that way. So a lot of, or even with wholesaling, a lot of folks wholesale. It's really a busy market. And so you can wholesale where you can get something under contract and just sell the contract and not actually buy the property. So there, I mean, there's many ways to kind of get started with not that much money. If you don't have $1,000 or $500 or $2,000, it kind of just really depends on where you want to kind of get in at, whether it's real estate or stocks or cryptocurrency. There's many different avenues, especially with all the different apps that are available to folks now.
Okay, it's just a matter of getting their minds wrapped around it, getting the concept of investment, and use the time wisely and the money wisely, which is where you come in. You are a consultant, is that right?
Yes, I do offer consulting services as well.
Wisely, which is where you come in. You are a consultant. Sorry, you guys, I have to navigate through this tonight. So, how would somebody get in touch with you if they wanted to have a some time of consultation with you? How would
Sure.
they
I
get in touch
mean,
with you?
my website is iamthinkingrich.com, or it's behind me as well, or oops, on this side, I am thinking rich. This is my Instagram handle, or they can go to my Patreon, patreon.com / I am thinking rich, or my website is www.iamthinkingrich.com to either reach out to me or learn more about the things that I teach. You there?
Okay, you said something about you can actually not buy the property. You can You may not buy the property, but you sell the contract. Could you explain that a little bit? Did I get that right? What
Yeah.
is that concept? Please
That concept
explain.
is basically called wholesaling. And so what you do is if you see a property that may be at a pretty good deal or a discount that you think somebody else may be interested in, you can basically get that property under contract or get it in a way where you would potentially sign yourself up for a contract to buy the property, but you don't actually need to buy the property. You can just sell the contract to someone else and they buy the property and they would give you a assignment fee of either $5,000, $10,000, sometimes 20, 50. It just kind of depends on how much of a discount you got the property at. So you may find a property that is worth $100,000 right now, but when it's fixed up and had a couple renovations, it might be worth 150. But then you're able to get the seller to sell it to you for $70,000. So that means if you get it under contract for the $70,000, you might be able to find somebody who's willing to buy it for $85,000. So you would make that $15,000 difference, or they would pay you $15,000 for the contract. They would go buy it for $70,000, fix it up, and now they have a property worth $130,000 that they can rent out or sell or do whatever they want to, and you don't really have to put too much money in or really have to worry about buying the property yourself and still make money.
Got it, got it. But how long does it take to do these things? I mean, how do you get the contacts? I mean, it seems like so simple when you're saying it, but I'm sure it's easy. It's not so easy, right? It's easier said than done. How would like somebody who has no concept of no background like you in accounting or investment, how would somebody go? Where do you start? All right, guys, I need your help on asking Richard questions here. This is very interesting. Obviously, he's successful. He knows what he's talking about. Please ask him questions. So, where does someone start, Richard? Where do you even start? I understand what you're saying. You get the contract, you don't even buy the property, you find somebody, you wholesale, the person actually buys, you get a 5,000 cut or a 10,000 cut, and so on and so forth. But I'm totally lost. Where do I start? All right.
I
So
mean, there's so many different places you can go to find the property, to find discounted properties. You can go on Craigslist, you can go on Facebook Marketplace. Sometimes they sell houses on eBay. You can drive around the neighborhood and see what house is not being taken care of well, which means that they may be in some type of financial distress. And if that's the case, then you can knock on doors or send out mailing cards and say, "Hey, I'm interested in buying your property. I see that you may need some assistance," or you can talk to divorce attorneys. If a lot of folks, when they're going through a divorce, they need to more than likely sell the property really quickly, so they may do it at a discount. And so it kind of just depends on what avenue you want to take. Again, if you do Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, or you can do Zillow. I know a lot of folks use Zillow, and you'll see a listing that instead of listed by an agent, it's listed for sale by owner. A lot of times you can reach out to the for sale by owner folk and say, "Hey, I'm not an agent. I would just like to buy your property." You put it under contract for, to buy within 30 days with 15-day due diligence to allow you to get inspections or whatever done if you need to, and also to find a buyer on the other end. So once you get it under contract, that's when you put it on the market on different websites for investors to take a look. So you can put it on websites like Bigger Pockets, Connected Investors, um, or even you can put it back on Facebook Marketplace or on Zillow or whatever the case may be, to find yourself a buyer. If you know people who are in real estate, you can say, "Hey, would you be willing to buy this property?" And if they say no, then you can ask them, do you know anyone who might be interested in buying this property? And so that's kind of the process of getting it, is looking for a house that may be at a steal. If you see a lot of the homes in the area are selling for 250, and this house is kind of under, not taken care of, then you might be able to offer 175, 200 for it, and then sell it for 220 or something like that, or sell the contract for 20,000 and somebody buys it for 220. So it kind of just depends on the approach. You can do tax sales as well. A lot of times you can get a list from the county about who is delinquent on their taxes for free. And so all you have to do is basically go to your city hall office and ask for that list, and they'll give it to you And then you can go ahead and start calling up the owners or mailing cards out to the owners as well.
Now I told you guys that he really knows what he's saying, what he's talking about. Do you have some mentees? Do you have mentorship sessions with um, for people who want to get into that same business? Do you mentor young people, or you
Yes,
just
for
do
sure.
consulting?
I definitely mentor young folks. I like to give back. My Patreon site, my Patreon site here is where I record a lot of videos, maybe 10, 15-minute videos about helpful hit tips or hints about getting into the industry, whether it be real estate, Airbnb, trucking, wholesaling, um, any type of side hustle or money management. This website here, patreon.com, I am thinking rich, is where I drop a lot of the gems and basically advice on how to make more money or get into real estate. And then at times I do offer one-on-one consultations as well. And those are typically, $50 for 30 minutes or $100 for 1 hour.
Okay, sorry guys for the delay. What you have a couple of questions. What do you think of the housing market right now? And then is it best to wait to start since properties are so expensive?
It depends on what your end goal is. So if you're looking to buy and hold and rent your property out, then it may not be too bad to still buy a property now, only because rent prices are increasing as well. So if you can find a property that typically I like to stay under the 300,000 mark, because typically I can get a rent that will cover the mortgage and any other expenses and also pay me some cash flow as well at the end of the month. So the 300,000 mark is typically where I like to stay under. Um, and so it's not too bad to sometimes still find rental properties in this market. Now to fix and flip, that's where it may get a little difficult because a lot of the properties that are not in very good condition, a lot of the sellers still want top dollar for it because of the market right now. And the price of lumber and the price of renovations have also went up as well. So that doesn't really leave a lot of room um, for the person, the investor, to make money on the flip. So I'm not doing any flips right now. Instead of doing flips, I've decided to do new construction and build houses from the ground up. That way I can kind of control the cost and then also build something a little nicer so that I can make sure that I'm making enough money on it right now. But the housing market is going up. It's nothing to be scared of. I'm not the type to wait for the market to drop simply because we never know when it might drop. It might continue to go up for the next 4 or 6 years. And so I like to make sure that I'm taking opportunities. If an opportunity comes by in a hot market, I'm still going to take the opportunity.
Just sitting down and waiting and not taking any risks, right?
Right.
I was going to ask you about what was it like when you were investing your first and only large amount of money, 10,000. Talk to us about the risk factor. Were you scared? What if I lose it? You said you did not even see the property, if I remember correctly. So what was it like? Were you like, I hope I don't lose my $10,000. I mean, tell us
Um,
a little bit.
I didn't feel, worried. I was more so excited because I knew this is something that I wanted to get into. I knew this would be, the starting point or the first step of getting to the milestones that I wanted to get to. So when I found the first property, my father actually sent it to me and said, "Hey, might be a good deal." And so I'm pretty good at Excel and analyzing properties. So I put the property in Excel. The property was really cheap. Again, it was a foreclosure, Fannie Mae foreclosure. So I think I bought the property for around 40 or 42,000. Um, and I think the property was valued at 65,000 at the time. This was back in 2014, um, and so far, I think the value has doubled. So now the property is worth about 130, and I'm able to have a lot of equity in the property. I pulled out more than, you know, $90,000 to use that to invest in the next couple of properties after that. And then the cash flow again was great. My mortgage at the time was only 250, so $250 a month, and then I had to pay for insurance and taxes. But then I had a tenant who was in there. That was a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom townhouse, and she was there paying 1,100 a month. So I was seeing about a little about $500 to $600 in cash flow a month from that one property, and that's when I fell in love and said, "Oh, I got to get more of these. I can't just stop at one."
Like, woohoo! Let's get another one, right? All right. So another question, Richard, how's the process different from just flipping? I think you just mentioned flipping. Are you still with us, Richard? I think he froze. I'm not sure what happened there. I think Richard had problems, you guys, and I don't see him. I'm pretty sure he's gonna jump back on. So give it a few moments while I try to contact him. All right. So Richard is back. All right. So I was saying when that happened, when that tenant was paying 1,100 a month, and your mortgage was 250, and you were paying insurance and tax and all that. So you're like, yeah, whoo woo, let's get this thing.
Yeah.
So that gave you the taste of investing in more real estate and more properties, and now you're moving on to constructions. There is a second question for you, Richard. It says, "Is how is the process different from just flipping?" I know you mentioned flipping, but please elaborate a little bit more. What you told us about, you know, right, buying property. How is it different?
Yeah, so the process from flipping is a little different. You want to make sure you have a contractor or handyman, somebody that's or handy woman who's good with the renovations and redoing the work to make sure that the work is quality. For a while, I stayed away from properties that needed work only because I heard of a lot of horror stories with contractors who run away with people's money. And so I stayed away from anything that needed renovations. I just wanted property that was already fixed up, so I didn't have to deal with any of that. Just because I felt very weary and was a little intimidated by it. But then after a while, I was like, all right, I got to step into it. And the best way to do it was I got a referral from someone else who had worked with a contractor and said the work was great, the communication was great, And so I, jumped into it. I bought a property in January of 2019. Um, and that property, I put about $40,000 of work into it in order to fix it up and make it look nice. And I turned it into an Airbnb after I fixed it up. So I actually didn't sell it afterwards. I bought it, fixed it up, turned it into an Airbnb. And on Airbnb, I want to say it was making close to about $3,500 a month. And so it was doing really well. And so I was kind of happy with that. And so I haven't sold any of my properties before. Typically, all the property I buy, I keep in either make into a rental or into an Airbnb. But so that's the difference with the process of doing flipping is you have to do the acquisitions, the renovations, and then sell, or you can do acquisition or buy the property, renovate it, and then just keep it in your own portfolio. And you can do a cash out refinance with the bank, and they'll basically give you 80% of the value for the property. So you can actually make money on the refinance by pulling the money back out.
Okay, wonderful. And speaking of Airbnb, you have a question about that. Is the Airbnb business lucrative? Is it worth investing in?
It's very lucrative. Depending on the area you're in, depends on how much you can charge per night. I believe Airbnb has a kind of like a simulation where you can put in the property and it'll tell you what they think you can make on the property. Um, and so that's a great way to find out whether or not you should Airbnb property, whether it's a good area. There are some other websites such as AirDNA, and that's AIRDNA.com or .co. And you can go on that website, type in the address and the details of the property, and they'll let you know what they think you can get or make on the property per night or per month. And so that's great resources out there. Or even if you just want to have a rental property and you're not sure how much your property can rent for, there are other sites that will tell you on average how much you can rent the property for, such as Rental Meter, and that's RENTOMETER.com. And that'll let you know whether or not the property or how much you can rent the property for, give or take.
Wonderful. And Richard, where do you see yourself at this rate? Okay, this has only been 7, 8 years. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 or top 10 years?
In the
The
next five,
vision.
10 years, I want to start building my team. So the next phase of what I'm doing is building a team of folks that I can trust to kind of handle this process for me, so that I can kind of remove myself from the work and start focusing more on the things that I actually want to do, like traveling. 5 to 10 years, probably start a family, and all of that. And so I'm looking to have my time back so that I can do those things within the next year. So building a team is really where I'm starting to focus on next. Folks that I can trust and rely on to, buy the properties for me, or analyze and find the properties for me, to renovate the properties and kind of just keep the whole system going without me having to really be too heavily involved.
Wonderful, wonderful. So 5 to 10 years, you're building a team so they can pretty much run the operations, all right, for you when you are enjoying your passive income and settling you guys with a family. I'm glad I heard that word here in the broadcast. He mentioned family, 5 to 10 years, all right. So it was so great to have you, Richard. I'm not sure if anybody has any other question. There is someone who's asking about an ALF. I'm not sure, Richard. Do you know about ALF? Would you consider getting into that business? That's
Uh,
an assisted
I'm
living
not.
facility. Like that's the health, you know. Yeah,
Okay.
that's an assisted living facility for the elderlies or for people who are partially, who can take care of themselves but who needs assistance.
Right,
Would you
right. I,
consider that?
I actually did consider assisted living facilities here in Georgia. Went through the process of learning how to start one and all of that, but then realized it was going to be a little more work than what I wanted to take on. I feel like my plate is already kind of full with the businesses that I have, and so I'm not looking to start something that would be, um, a brand new startup and having to work from the ground up again. I do have some friends who own their own assisted living facilities down in South Florida and also in Tampa, and they're making some really good money off of it. But it is some work to take care of other folks and dealing with other people and families and all of that. And so it wasn't the route that I wanted to take. I wasn't trying to add more work to my plate. But a great way to make money.
Gotcha. Again, guys, I apologize for the delay in my replies, but I'm trying to navigate with the sound. So if I understand correctly, you are a man who is not putting all your eggs in the same basket. You are just like spreading. And for you to even say that you're considered ALF is just confirming what I'm thinking. You putting your eggs in different baskets. You are, spreading around, and it's not just staying in one industry. um,
Right.
that's a good strategy, and you find out that it's working for you. Would you advise anybody to do the same? Because that practice, that strategy is actually biblical. All right, the wisest man who ever lived said that, um, to sow and to spread and to throw your bread across the waters, and so on and so forth. So is that working?
Yeah, I just would advise folks not to spread themselves too thin. So even with me, I'm in trucking, I'm in real estate. If I were to get into another industry or another type of department or something, it would be with someone who already has the system and the processes and the business in place, and I'm just either providing more resources to them to continue what they have going on, as opposed from me starting from the ground up. I don't want to start any more businesses from the ground up. Like, it takes a lot of work, a lot of late nights, and so I'd rather put the resources with someone who already has the system and business going. But I do like to diversify. So, I have the stocks, I have the real estate, I have the trucking. Um, but I know I don't want to add more work to my plate. I'm not trying to make sure that I would like to retire within the next 5 to 10 years as well. So where I don't, again, I'm building that team so I don't have to work um, for all the things that I've done and built for myself.
As much, right? I got you. So before we leave, if we don't have any questions, I really do want to say thank you for coming to this platform. We really enjoyed you, and we wish you continued success. All right, may you go from success to success in everything that you do by the grace of God. And we are thankful that you are being successful in representing our community. Parce que when they check your background and they see that you're of Haitian descent, ça sont en fierté pour nous. This is, our pride and joy. Before we leave, Richard, for ban anti-creole, do anti-creole pour nous.
Me, my Creole's bad, but bonsoir, bon nuit. Have a great night, everyone. I appreciate you having me on the site, on your platform. It's definitely been a pleasure. Um, and looking forward to the next couple of years for both of us to see what we have to come. I'm sure your platform and your YouTube channel will grow exponentially with the amount of folks and support that you have.
Thank you so much, Richard. So Richard dit bonsoir, comment nous y? All right. So thank you so much, Richard.
All
And
right.
somebody pronounce number 62426 on you. All right. And someone says, like Oprah says, always make sure you sign all your checks, even if you stepped back. Okay. All right. So, Richard, thank you so very much for being on the platform. We thank you, everyone, for being here. For, like Richard just said, and share this platform, share this broadcast. All right. That's why we bring Thursday Night Live to you. The social aspect, it's not just the spiritual part. All right. We are living on earth, and God wants us to prosper on earth. And we bring successful people who've gone that path, who have experienced, and who can give us tips on how comment you fait river. Okay, so Richard, again, we thank you and good night, you guys. I'm still going to see, I know, bye Richard, I'm gonna take you to backstage. Thank you so much. Don't go anywhere though. Thank you so much. God bless you and continued success to you. We are very proud and we're cheering you on. God bless
Thank
you.
you.
So you guys, I'm still gonna try to come on tomorrow morning. It's been a little bit kind of hectic for me these days, but bear with me, be patient. I thank those of you who were on Monday morning. Well, Monday morning I couldn't get on. I got on Wednesday, yesterday morning, but tomorrow morning I have something going on. I may not be able to, but I will try my very best. Remain in prayer. Okay, God bless you guys. May the Lord bless you. I'm going to say the same blessing that Kedeline Bernadine just said, number 624, 26. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you. May the Lord grant you his grace. May the Lord turn his face towards you. May he grant you his peace in Jesus' mighty name. God bless you guys. You have a wonderful night. Again, it was a pleasure to be in your home for Thursday Night Live with Broken But Not Wasted Ministries. God bless you. And I'll see you next Thursday, God willing. And we're going to have somebody very, very, very interesting you do not want to miss next Thursday, God willing. All right, good night. Thank you so much. Share, like the broadcast right now. I see I only have, what, 4 likes. Like the broadcast right now, subscribe, and share. God bless you guys. Good night. Bye.